dog droppings. Hey, guys, how's your day? Glad you're here. I was taking a little bit of time to look at another book called Witches by Roald Dahl. It's illustrated by the same person who illustrated the current book we're reading, Ice Monster. Really good book. You'll find out just what you smell like after you've had a shower, according to witches. But we know you're here to listen to two of the we're almost at the end, can you believe it? Chapters of David Walliams' Ice Monster. Let's get started. Chapter 75, Audience with the Queen. For the first time in her life, Elsie was too shy to speak, so she just nodded. "It weren't just her that stole the mammoth," said Dotty. "I done it and all." "Don't forget your manners," hissed the Admiral. "It's I done it and all, ma'am, not marm. It rhymes with ham or jam." "I done it all, ham," said Dotty. Titch shook his head in despair. "And what gave you the right to break into my Natural History Museum, bring a long-extinct prehistoric animal back to life, and then set it free?" Elsie looked down at her foot. "Well?" pressed the Queen. "I don't know, ma'am," she replied. "Well, you must have some sort of idea." The girl looked over at Dotty and Titch, who gave their nods of encouragement. "Well, I suppose." "Spit it out, child." "Well, I looked at Wooly." "I beg your pardon. Who is Wooly?" "Oh, that's the name I gave the mammoth, ma'am." Queen Victoria gestured for the girl to continue. "Do carry on." "You see, Your Majesty, everyone was calling the mammoth a monster, but I looked on Wooly as a friend." "A friend?" asked the Queen, incredulous. "Yes, a friend. And like me, she seemed lost without her mother and father, so I wanted to help her find her way home." The Queen listened and nodded her head. "Looking at you, child, I take it you are an orphan." "Yes, ma'am," replied the girl. "I was left on the steps of the orphanage when I was a baby. I never knew me ma or pa." The Queen leaned in. "Do you know if you're out there somewhere? Do you know if they're out there somewhere?" "No, ma'am. I don't know if they're alive or dead." This hit Queen Victoria like a thunderbolt. She was overcome with emotion. Her eyes closed and she struggled to breathe. Are you all right, Your Majesty?" asked Elsie. The little girl broke strict royal protocol and stepped forward to hold the lady's hand. Queen Victoria looked down at the grubby little hand holding hers. This simple act of kindness made a tear well in the old lady's eye. "Here, use my sleeve," said Elsie, offering up her arm to wipe the lady's face. This made the Queen smile. "You, child, are a very special young lady," said Queen Victoria. The little girl was rather taken aback. No one had ever told her that before. Queen Victoria opened her arms and folded Elsie into them. For a moment these two people, separated by oceans of age, class, and wealth, held each other tight. It felt like the world stopped. "Thank you, child," said Queen Victoria. "I needed that." "We both did." "It's been so long since anyone has given this old lady a jolly good hug. Being the Queen, no one ever gives you one." "Any time, Your Majesty." The pair broke away from each other. "Well," began the Queen, "the whole world has been following this story in the newspapers, myself included. Little did I know what was behind this extraordinary adventure. A deep and special friendship between an orphan girl and an innocent creature who just needed to find her way home." Elsie nodded. "You're right, Your Majesty." "This story has moved me, not least because of all your incredible bravery. So I declare that some prize-giving is in order. Moonshi?" "Yes, Your Majesty," replied Abdul. "Be a dear and bring me my box of medals." Chapter 76, The Bravest. The Chelsea pensioners all stood proudly to attention. "Now I have something here for you all," began the Queen, opening the shiny wooden box, "for my brave soldiers." "And sailor," prompted the Admiral. "Oh, and sailor. My apologies, Captain." "Admiral," corrected the old man grandly.
Well, I asked my commander-in-chief to look into all of you, and I was told you never rose above the rank of captain."
The old soldiers all stared at him.
"Well, the man spluttered. "I think there was some sort of mix-up, Your Majesty." "Really?" asked the brigadier. "I'm the confused one, not you."
"Yes, I think when I was asked to leave the old sailor's home and arrived at the Royal Hospital, all the old soldiers just started calling me Admiral. Heaven knows why." There were murmurs of,
"You told us all to call you that, big fat lawyer. I would love to stick that leg of yours where the sun don't shine. Shark would have swallowed you whole. Does this pub serve any food?"
"Did they indeed?" The Queen was not convinced.
"Well, Captain, approach and collect your medal."
Nervously, the man limped over to the Queen. Doof, doof, doof. As he saluted, Queen Victoria pinned the medal to his chest.
"As head of the British Armed Forces, I hereby promote you to the rank of Admiral Retired."
The newly appointed admiral turned round and looked at the others smugly.
"Thank you, Your Majesty." "Now get back to your place before I change me mind."
"Yes, of course, Your Majesty," he replied, limping off as fast as his leg would carry him. Doof, 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 doof. One by one, she called all the old soldiers up and pinned medals to their chests. Finally, it was Titch's turn. The soldier with just one lonely medal, the medal every soldier receives for service.
"Well, Private Thomas," began the Queen, "I have learned that your time in the military has not been distinguished. Despite serving in my army for over 50 years, you never rose beyond the rank of private. Somehow, despite being in some of the greatest battles in history, you failed to fire even a single shot."
"I don't like loud bangs, Your Majesty."
"Over the years, Private Thomas, you have been mocked for your stature, but this extraordinary adventure has shown that you are a giant among men. Do you know what this is?"
she asked, dangling a cross-shaped medal. Titch's eyes lit up. "Of course, ma'am. That is the highest honor a soldier can receive, the Victoria Cross."
"I rarely give these out. They only go to the bravest of soldiers. The Victoria Cross goes to you, Private Titch Thomas, and you shall henceforth be known as Private Towering Thomas."
The Queen bent down to pin the Victoria Cross to his chest. Titch looked at it, his eyes welling with tears. "Thank you, Your Majesty." As he turned round to face his comrades, they gave him an almighty hoorah.
"This just proves, if there ever were any doubt, that heroes come in all shapes and sizes," said the Queen.
Private Thomas smiled proudly. Then the Queen turned her attention to Elsie and Dotty.
"Of course, heroism isn't something reserved for men only. Look at some of the great heroes of my reign. So many of them are women. Florence Nightingale, Elizabeth Garrett, Anderson, or Millicent Fawcett, to name a few. So I would like to award medals to both of you as well, Dotty."
The lady didn't move.
"Dotty!"
"Me?" asked Dotty.
"Yes. You are called Dotty, aren't you?"
"Yes."
"Well, approach me then, please."
"Now?"
"Yes, now."
The lady curtsied with every step she took.
"Get a move on,"
ordered the Queen.
"Apologies, Jan."
Queen Victoria rolled her eyes and went to pin the medal to Dotty's chest.
Let me help you, Your Queen, the Majesty,"
she said, all fingers and thumbs. Because of nerves, Dotty managed to stab herself with the pin.
"Ow!"
"Are you all right?" asked the Queen.
"Yes, I'm fine. Ouch!"
"Are you sure?"
"I've just stabbed myself, but I'm fine, really. I'm fine. Ow!
Dotty then retreated, curtsying again with every step. Now, last but not
least, Elsie,"
said the Queen. The girl curtsied respectfully, and then once again approached the old lady.
"Elsie, you have been the bravest of all. Living on the streets of London is brave enough, but you have been the driving force behind this extraordinary adventure. You did all this, not for yourself, not for personal gain, but to help, in your words, a friend. Ersie, you have shown uncommon valor. Queen Victoria reached into her box for the final medal. Then the girl spoke up. I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude in that, but I don't want a medal, man. A gasp echoed around the room. And that does it for chapters 65 and 66 of David Walliams' Ice Monster. All right, guys. You now have to do those skills that we work on, answering incomplete sentences by restating the question. Have a great rest of your day. Make sure you click submit, and maybe you want to check out Witches by Roald Dahl as well.